Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Quality Awards. My name is Ralph Peterson, and in this video, we are going to go over question P1A3 of the Silver Quality Award in the org profile. So let's get right into it. Here it is, the org profile. This is brought straight from your Bronze Quality Award. There is one additional question, which is highlighted in blue here, and there is a secret. Shh. There's a secret. There's a secret requirement in P1A3 that you may not know about. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you what the secret is. Okay. Also note that in P1A3, there are more than one question. Here's question number 1. What is your workforce profile? Question number 2. What are your workforce or employee segment groups? Question number 3 are the key drivers of engagement. Remember, those 3 questions existed in your Bronze application already, so you might just be able to copy and paste. The new question, actually questions, because there's 3 of them. What are the key changes to your 1, workforce capability, 2, workforce capacity, and 3, workforce composition? So you can see there is now a total of 6 parts to P1A3, 6 parts and a secret. So here we go. Your workforce profile, again, just pull it right from your Bronze Quality Award. I would just simply say that it's just an overview, what the examiners are looking for. We're like, hey, what does your workforce look like? And we imagine it is a mix of male and female, and maybe even more female than male. Okay, maybe it's generational differences. You have younger and older. Maybe it is you have credential differences. Maybe there are professional licensed and non-professional non-licensed. Maybe there is a mix of part-time and full-time. Maybe you even have a mix of in-house staff versus outsourced staff or agency staff, which would be fine to mention. Anything that you want to tell us, get the examiner to know about what your workforce looks like, that would be really helpful. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out explanation. We're talking a sentence or 2 about our workforce profile. Number 2 is your workforce employee groups. Now, if this is the first time you're working with me or watching my videos or did not work with me on the Bronze, let me tell you that if I were you, I would invite you to consider only identifying 3 workforce groups. My workforce groups include an administrative, admin, I'll just put admin group, a clinical group, and a support group. You do not have to use just 3 groups like I'm doing now. You can certainly list out all your departments, like housekeeping and laundry and dietary and, LNAs or CNAs and STNAs and LPNs and RNs and facility maintenance, and you can do that. You don't have to. If you brought it down into 3 buckets, we would totally get it. Your administrative group, just to be clear, is not your administrator, and it is not your leadership team. It includes those people, but it also includes HR, business office, payroll, MDS, social services, like all your receptionist, maybe your technology, like maybe you have somebody who does all your technology for you. They would be considered perhaps admin. They might be considered support too. Clinical, as you can imagine, is all nursing staff. And then support would be like facility maintenance, housekeeping, dietary, laundry, even activities, social services could be support, whatever plays supporting roles. So you could just use 3 if, I dropped my pen, if you wanted to add a 4th bucket here, because a lot of times because we're going to be talking about the drivers of engagement and the differences among the groups, you might have a difference with full versus per diem staff. We used to always have per diem staff, and so the drivers of engagement would be different for full-time versus part-time or per diem staff. If you wanted to add that, especially on the clinical, which is usually where it shows up, so clinical full-time, clinical per diem or part-time, that would make sense for you to do, especially if the drivers of engagement, again, are different. But you don't have to. Again, I would, as an examiner, I would totally accept you have 3 groups, an administrative group, a clinical group, and a support group. I'd be totally fine with that. Now, the drivers of engagement are interesting, and this is where the secret comes in. Here it is. The drivers of engagement are usually, in management theory, I don't want to get into a long drawn-out thing, but in management theory, we have something that we call hygiene. Hygiene. And hygiene in regular life is like brushing your teeth, combing your hair, washing your hands. But in management theory and management practice, hygiene includes things that make people feel good and create a healthy work environment. Like hygiene, brushing your teeth, washing your hands, helps you be healthy. Hygiene in management in organizations helps the organization remain healthy. And it's the types of things like competitive pay. Competitive pay is what we would consider hygiene, or a dress down day. Dress down day. Like a blue jean Friday would be like a nice little like a nice little gift. Or something like good benefits. Benefits. Or room for growth. Room for growth. Or education opportunities, ed-ops. These are what we would consider drivers of engagement. They're the reason why. Why should they work for you? Well, because they could be a CNA or a nurse or a housekeeper or a maintenance director anywhere, but we love working for this company because they have a 401k. They have really good paying structure. They have room for growth. They have flexible schedules, right? Like these are the typical responses that we're going to get for drivers of engagement. We would also see things that are non-hygiene. So on one side, it's hygiene. On the other, it is what we would consider high performance indicators. Performance. And I'm just going to put indicators. High performance indicators are unlike hygiene. It's not something that you give to the employee, but it is something that the employee gets. This is like job satisfaction. This is like they are committed to, they're really compassionate people. They're committed to doing the work of senior care. So these high performance indicators could also be drivers of engagement. Now, here is the secret. None of these drivers of engagement that you list here, none of them can be a guess. No guessing. No guessing. That is why I put the little question mark here, because this is the first indicator where the examiner, if I'm reading your application and I'm reading this is the first time I'm going, you say that your employees want competitive pay, they want room for growth, they want consistent job assignments, they want good benefits. Well, here's a question for you. How do you know that? How do you know that? There is something that an examiner uses called the TOER. You don't have to write it down. It's not relevant for the person filling out the application, but it's just something for you to know that we are looking for the TOER stands for Table of Expected Results. Expected results. At the end of this application in section 7, there is a results section. Results section. And that is where you're going to be telling us how you know everything on this application. Everything that you say that is measurable, you're going to go, this is how we know this. You're going to give us a graph or some sort of data in section 7. In here, for the workforce profile, this is going to be in section 7.3. 7.3 is going to be all about workforce. And it is in 7.3 where we're going to go, how did they know that their employees wanted good benefits, or that they wanted educational opportunities, or they wanted room for growth, or flexible job assignments, or consistent job assignments? Nobody really wants a flexible job assignment. Maybe somebody. I like floating. Some people do. But how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? This is not a guess. This is the big secret, and it's a huge difference from bronze to silver. Pardon the quick interruption. I just wanted to come on here and thank you personally for watching Inside the Quality Awards with me. I am so excited that you are applying for a quality award, and I wanted to give you my cell phone number. That's right. This is my actual cell phone number. Text me, call me if you have any questions about any level of the quality award program. I want to help you win more than anything. Okay. Back to the at bronze, you are committing to the quality award program. Here at the silver level, you are proving it. This is where you have to show proof, evidence. You have to show evidence. So that is the big secret here. Make sure that you know how. You have to be able to explain how you know. How do you know this is what they want? Okay. The next 3 questions. What key changes are you experiencing in your workforce capability, capacity, and composition? We're going to go through all 3 words individually. First, capability. Capability is simply skill level. And the question we're asking you is, and this is an important question for the examiner, the question we're asking you is, in your recruiting, and we're looking at the last 12 to 18 months. Let me write that down. Let me put it in red so I can stand out a little bit. This is a general rule for the whole application. 12 to 18 months is the look back that we're looking for. So we're like, what key changes are you experiencing? What key changes have you been experiencing in the last 12 to 18 month time frame? That's important to note. So in the last 12 to 18 month time frame, have people been applying for work that either are overskilled, they have more skills than you've ever needed, or, in my case, they're coming less skilled. They're not having the skills. They're coming looking for CNA jobs or LNA jobs or LPN jobs, whatever, but they don't have the credentials. Or they have partial, they're in college or they're in school, but they haven't yet graduated. Like, maybe that's the case. Why is this important to note? The reason this is important is because it's going to give the examiner a heads up, like, you might be having an issue or have addressed an issue that you could have identified here. Because like us, because we do have a lot of people coming in to apply for CNA jobs that do not have CNA licenses, we are considering starting a CNA class. We certainly have already had to partner up with another school. We have a local community college that's offering CNA classes. We partnered up with them because we don't have our own CNA class, and we are having this change where people are coming to apply to work as CNAs, and they're not yet certified nursing assistants. That's the reason we're asking this question. That's the reason why we'd want to know this answer. Capacity is the number of employees. And if you're like most of us, we have in the last 12 to 18 months seen a dramatic reduction in the number of employees who apply. And that is a capacity issue where we're not getting enough applicants. If that's not the case for you, if neither one of those is the case for you, let's say that you're like, you know what? Looking at the last 12 to 18 months, we've not had any staffing issues. We're not recruiting. We have enough staff. We're not short staffed. We're not using agency. We haven't had any real changes in this composition means makeup of our employee group. Then you could simply say, we have not experienced any changes in our workforce capability, capacity, or composition. That could also be true. But if it is true that you have experienced it, we'd like to know what those changes are and what you are doing about it. If you've run out of staff, like we're not getting enough applicants, this might be where you say, we've actually had to bring on some agency staffing. Okay, totally makes sense. The makeup, the composition, the last final thing I'll say about the composition here is if you take your workforce profile, your current workforce profile, and you look at over the last, again, 12 to 18 months, has the people who have been applying and the people you've been hiring, has that changed the dynamics of your composition, your workforce group? It's likely the answer is no, right? There's usually not large demographic shifts, but sometimes there are. When I first started working in long-term care, way back in 2005, this is my 20th year, 21st year in long-term care. We had a lot of immigrants coming from Bosnia into the state that I was working in Vermont. And so we started hiring all these Bosnian immigrants. And it was great, wonderful, but man, did it make it was a large shift. It was a big composition change. We had language, challenges. We had religious challenges. We had transportation challenges. We had, all kinds of challenges based on the influx of the immigration shift that we had in our community at the time. It's unlikely that that's happening right now. If it is, and it's causing some sort of it doesn't have to be a negative, by the way. It could be a definite positive. The whole application is a positive. We're just looking for hints. The whole thing here, we're just looking for hints. New York profile, we're looking for hints. What hints can we get about what your organization is going through or experiencing with your staffing? That's what the whole point of this section P1A3 is all about. Okay, there you go. As always, I hope you found this video helpful. If you would like a copy of my chicken scratch notes here, shoot me an email at ralph@ralphpeterson.com and I will send you the notes for P1A3.